Hello, I'm Jeongmoo Huh from KAIST, Korea. Today I'm talking about microchemical thrusters we are developing at KAIST for physical application in the future. And this is content. After a brief introduction, my presentation will cover the following. Constellation operation dramatically reduce real time of satellite, and almost real time observation is now expected possible. So one company are planning to use to record almost real time video. And constellation operation using nanosatellite has been tried by many researchers, and they show good results. The mission objective and lifespan of satellite is quite limited due to lack of small-scale propulsion system. So, according to previous work, this much thrust is required for orbit transfer, attitude control, and drag compensation of CubeSat class satellite. So, small-scale propulsion system development is essential for normal operation of nanosatellite class constellation operation. So, among the several propellant types, we are interested in monopropellant thruster, which you can see on the right upside. It has one fuel injector, capacity reactor, and motor. And propellant is supplied through the injector and into this chamber, and it is decomposed by catalyst. And this product is accelerated through the nozzle, and the amount of thrust generated depending on flow rate of the propellant. So using monopropellant, reignition and throttling is possible. And the system is quite simple. But although specific impulse performance is quite low, we can improve it by propellant blending. So among the monopropellant candidates, hydrogen was most commonly used propellant because it has high specific impulse performance, but it is toxic and it requires expensive safety. Ionic liquid such as HAM, ABM is clean propellant, but it requires preheating to be decomposed by catalyst. And hydrogen peroxide is clean propellant, but it is easily decomposed by catalyst at room temperature. So using this, we can make thruster with economical cost. And you can see how differently the propellant is managed between toxic and non-toxic. And previous work of monopropellant thruster shows difficulties of sufficient propellant decomposition due to structural failure in the chamber and catalyst that is easily washed away in high temperature and pressure, and additional heater was needed to overcome excessive heat loss in microscale thruster. So in this work, the research objective is to find possibility of use of high energy content by propellant blending to overcome excessive heat loss in microscale thruster. And another one is to investigate the feasibility of use of micro-cooling channels in Microthruster to deal with thermal stress and structure failure. And the last one is to find the feasibility of ionic liquid in Microthruster to increase performance without additional heater installation. This one is Microthruster with blended propellant. We designed thruster using 5 layers, and there's inlet through this injector, chamber, and nozzle. And you can see the middle one that contains nozzle and nozzle. And the target thrust is around 50 millimeters, and other design parameters. And for fabrication material, we considered glass, which is one of the most insulating material, and it is good for conserving heat energy in the chamber. Also, it has cost effectivity, chemical resistance, and transparency. So using photosensitive glass MEMS fabrication process, we made fabricated microthruster. So first we made chromat, and the photosensitive glass was UV exposure, heat treatmented, etched, polished, and bonded. And this is manufactured wafers as compound for the thruster. And optical microscope shows acceptable fabrication error with around 5% for nozzle, throat, and acid, and with 10% for index. We also made a catalyst to directly insert into the structure. So, and we used platinum, which has good performance for hydrogen peroxide decomposition, and it has higher melting temperature than adiabatic temperature of hydrogen peroxide. So it can be durable at high temperature and pressure. And alumina pellet was used as support, which has high surface volume ratio. Someone is physically robust and strongly adhered with metals such as platinum. So after this procedure, washing, rolling, calcination, and reduction, we fabricated platinum catalyst. And same result shows well-distributed platinum on the surface of the alumina surface. And in this result shows platinum around 28%, which is similar to the target wavelength, which is 30. And this fabricated platinum catalyst was directly inserted to the microstructure, and it was thermally and UV bonded. And this is manufactured glass integral glass thruster. And to deal with microfluids of the propellant, we repeatedly test the feeding line to have enough response time of the supply, supply. And we found this much diameter is enough for the acceptable response time. And this is the experimental setup for the microthruster step. And this is drawing. We use force sensor, and we step on this stem to fix the surface. And we suggest the usual blended propellant. So target performance was to have higher specific impulse than that of 98% hydrogen peroxide, and also have minimal temperature at range of combustion temperature that's higher than hydrogen. So we choose 30 starter fuel ratio to for 98% hydrogen peroxide and ethanol blending. And this is experimental testing. And you can see also ignition for ethanol by controlled hydrogen peroxide, which has adiabatic temperature of around 750 Celsius. So it's enough for the ignition. And the repeatability test shows validate the repeatability of the thruster, and the test result with the same flow rate in blended propellant and pure hydrogen peroxide shows how much stress impulse was improved. So yeah, it shows the stress impulse was improved by propellant blending, and we adjust the flow rate of the pure hydrogen peroxide to make it have similar thrust generation with blended case, and you can see how stability is changing. As you can see, the blue line, which is blended propellant curve, has more stable average thrust, but the actual thrust is quite more fluctuate than unblended case. And the standard deviation calculation shows using blended propellant, we can get stable average thrust, but actual thrust is quite more fluctuated, which is stemming from additional chemical reaction, which is ethanol combustion. And the second one is microthruster with cooling channel. After we try to increase fuel to oxidizer ratio, there is higher temperature in the chamber, and this kind of problem happens. So we consider regenerative cooling method, which is generally using big size rocket, and coolant, which is actually propellant, is used as coolant, and it's flowed inside tube of the rocket structure to cool the structure before it enters to the chamber. For this, we add micro cooling channels between both sides of the chamber. And we also, in this case, we also add sensors to measure chamber temperature and pressure. And you can see the main profile and channel that was designed to cover whole area of the chamber. And this is the following the same mass fabrication procedure. We made a compound layer for cooling channel microthruster, and optical microscope shows where fabricated cooling channel model and also inserted fabricated catalyst and thermal UV bonded. And this is the fabricated microthruster with cooling channel and temperature sensor and pressure sensor. We use similar experimental setup with previous one, but we add chamber temperature sensor, pressure sensor, and surface temperature sensor. This result of experimental test. So the test comparison method with cooling chamber and without shows increased temperature at the chamber and surface. So if the cooling channel validates the effect of cooling channel on that temperature. But unfortunately, pressure was also decreased, and it made surface generation decrease by around 10%. With excessive cooling. But thermal shock was relieved by 64% with microcooling channels. So this result indicates we need to consider trade-off between performance and structure. And the last one is Microthruster with alien-based propellant. And we are making alien-based propellant, which has higher surface interest than hydrogen peroxide. But it requires this much temperature creativity. So, for this, without additional heater installation, we just use hydrogen peroxide first. So, with hydrogen peroxide primary injection and having around this much temperature, we start to inject ABM here. So, without heating installation, we found successful catalytic conversion of ABM without additional electrical energy for heater. Yeah, so this is all we are doing now, and we are planning for further process. And conclusion is we made wicked microthruster using Photosensitive as fabrication process, and using platinum catalyst, we found sufficient propellant decomposition. And using high energy content to overcome excessive payloads by total blending was successfully validated. And cooling channel feasibility and effectiveness was validated in micro propellant structure. And use of alien is in Microthruster without additional heat installation was 5 and successfully validated. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have time for questions. Any questions? No? I've got a question myself. I'll ask my question anyway. What was the mass of the platinum coated alumina that you put inside? Approximately.
Actually, we care the mass. We care the decomposable propellant flow per mass. So I use 1 gram per centimeter cube to make it complete.
I'm sorry, maybe I missed it. So in the case of cooling, you are losing the pressure very rapidly. Do you have any other sort of the alternative method to supplement it?
Yeah, we consider the pressure loss at the cooling channel, but actually, and also we need to optimize the cooling channel shape and area as well. But in this step, we just found the feasibility of and effectiveness of the cooling channel, and that was what we should do more.
Any further questions? Okay, so let's thank our speaker once more.